Generic greetings and welcome back to Prison Architect. In the previous episode we finished off this auxiliary building here and actually that's not strictly true. There is a little bit of concrete tile to go there and I believe there. So yeah, that's now resolved. Excellent. So yes, as you can see, the building is mostly complete. We've got it all finished off and tidied. We've got flooring put in. We've finished off all of the cells up here. Obviously we did make some fairly drastic changes to this area. So we have the weights benches and prayer mats in here instead of two other cells, and because of that we've had to just do different things. I do want, however, to dismantle that and remove all of these walls here because, quite frankly, it's really annoying to get to there and they have to climb over a table, which is not ideal, whereas if I just remove these it'll probably look a bit better. But let's just see how it looks after we've done it. It looks alright, actually. If I do that there, it should be fine. If we wanted to, we could get rid of these weight benches, but we're just going to leave it, I think. The problem we have is that, obviously, we now only have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 protective custody cells, and at the moment we have a total of 5 protective custody people in there. So considering we're going to get this one and this one done, this is no longer enough. So what we might have to do is extend it across and then down and something like that. But that's a futurist problem. Current us is worried and indeed has to plan this centre bit here. So this is going to be almost a clone of this one for the most part, apart from this central section. But we need to build the foundations first, and in order to do that we need some more money. So let's go over to our, I believe it is in grants, yes, and we'll increase the bank loan to probably about, we'll say 50 grand. There we go. We'll probably get some more later on, but we don't need it just yet. So we're going to spend 53 grand straight away on doing that. Oh, actually, let me turn that off, and we'll make sure auto light isn't on, because quite frankly that would be well a little bit problematic. So we'll go over to a large jail door, and we're going to put a large jail door in right on that corner there, and that will obviously serve as the main entrance here. So what I'm not going to do is plan off all of this. There's no point in planning off this down here, because I am literally going to be using the clone tool and sort of printing it. So cloning, and doing that. That's what I'll be doing. There's still this room here, which we don't have anything in there. Now, I know a couple of people have said about having that as the morgue, because we do have a morgue which is off-site here. So it is possible we could do that, but for the time being, probably not going to bother. This room was also, I know we made some changes here. People have suggested that we increase the size of it so it comes down here. We then connect it up to this area by some means, like an entrance there, for example, around there, which is possible. And then we have the entrance to this area in here. That is a possibility. However, all that would really do is move the prayer mats and the weight benches into where the morgue currently is, and then the morgue, there isn't any place for it, so we'd probably have to place it in storage, which isn't a problem. We could probably cut storage in half and put a couple of morgue slabs there, or if we wanted to, we could put them in here, but this is still ideally going to be the psychologist's office, so it's still in flux, shall we say. In terms of grants, you can see that we have 3 on the go, which is the Reform Through Education Initiative. It's very easy to do once we've passed the general education course, but we haven't, so we can't, and now it's now. No, basically we just need to get that one done. People are still going into the classroom and such, so that's fine. There's been some suggestion to move the classroom into the visitation and swap them around. That is possible, and it would increase the size of the classroom, but we don't really need it any bigger than it currently is, so I think that's fine. What I do want to do, because I've been forgetting, is to go to deployment guards and put a guard in parole, because you should always have a guard in parole, because if they don't get parole, sometimes they will kick off. I also want to go over to programs and find the guard test certification and stop that, because we've been running that for quite a while and we just don't need it run. We've got workshop safety induction, 28 interested, kitchen safety and hygiene, 31 interested, behavioural therapy is now 3 in the queue, so it's interesting that we should have that increase over the last episode or so we might have to go for that. We've got general education qualification, which is almost finished. You can see 2 interested / qualified. Hopefully that'll be done shortly, and then we just need to place 2 school desks, and then that'll be us done. We'll probably do a shakedown tonight because I think it is appropriate. We have, how many prisoners in total? 66 prisoners in total, with only 61 of those being protective custody, and 61 of those being normal, and then 5 protective custody. So it's sleep time. You can see everybody's running towards their cells, and we will do a shakedown. Now, in terms of gangs, something I haven't really looked at in a while. We can see the gangs. We have 4 red gang members, 3 green gang members, and 1 blue gang member. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when we get this prison up and running, because previously we've had sections where we may have sectioned off, we may have had individual cell blocks which houses different prisoners, but they've normally mixed in the canteen and the kitchen and the common room and things like that, things that can take over in the game as gangs. However, this is the first time that we've had a complete segregation from the different risk levels. So we might say, for example, have this one here that has more red members and takes over different sections, whereas this one, it might be blue. And also, it might be the case that the blue gang leader goes in this prison, for example, but the majority of blue members are in here, so they can't order them. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know if they'll be able to meet up and such. They don't have access out, so we'll have to see what happens there. So let's go over to our, deployment, and we want to go for MinSec only. This is our new MinSec facility, and I want to get planning tools open because I'm going to just start measuring out a couple of things. So this is going to be where we'll have the outside wall. So Paul, it's 5 to there. So it's 5 to there, and then that goes straight across. This is just a rough estimate of what we've got in here. So this comes down, that's the edge of it. So that is the edge of the... Hang on, is that correct? It should be 5 from the wall, and indeed it is. So that's fine. So that's like the edge of the... That's the edge of these cells there. Because what we're going to do, instead of having these in the middle, we will have instead like a couple of dormitories, but I haven't yet decided on just how big that'll be. I think that is correct. I think it's something like that, isn't it? It does run up to there. Yes, it does. That's fine. So, in terms of dormitories, what sort of size do we have? Well, we do have a 37. Could have it that size. 2 17 by 18s. What's the other option? That's probably what we'll go with, to be honest with you. But the other option is... not really ideal, but something like that. 12, 11, 12. No, not a fan of that. I think the bigger dormitories are probably the way forward. I think that. And then we'll have the entrances probably on the corners like that, maybe. This thing's going to be a huge security risk. It is just a huge security risk. We just have to accept the fact that that is what we're doing here. We are basically making a huge headache for ourselves. Anyway, I'm going to put some walkways all the way around the outside there just to aid in movement and building. Not that they're going to traverse that a lot, but hey-ho. So we'll lock that door open just so they can get access into here. There's our shakedown done, which we've not found a lot of things, I don't think. You can see, obviously, danger level is increasing slightly because of the nature of the beast. But it shouldn't be a problem. It is going up higher than I thought. But staff morale is high, prisoners saying they're well treated, them serious complaints are going down. There is a little bit of a kick-off, so that is gang members Paul Bennett and also Andrew Damond, and yeah, they are gang members. I wonder if they are different. Yes, they are different gangs. So we've got a green and red gang fight there. Any traits that we're aware of? Stokel gang members. No, that's it. That's it. Nothing major. So we will have some new people turning up shortly. One of the things that we haven't got, which is a problem, is we haven't got any parole for these here. So these protective custody prisoners will probably stay here longer than their normal risk counterparts because they don't have access to parole. So Yeah, and also, because they don't have access to any reform, like, for example, the classroom, they don't have access to the library, because we don't have one, actually. Now that I think about it. We don't actually have a library, do we? No, we don't. Our cleaning cupboard was going to be a library, but we don't have one, which is an oversight. We could add it. Library. Minimum size 5 by 5. It could go in there. In terms of needs, prisoner needs, you can see there is a literature need that is quite high now. And we don't have a mail room. That is an issue. We don't have a library and we don't have a mail room. How is that? How are we going to resolve that? Luxuries should be getting fulfilled from the shop. And people are assigned to the shop. So that's fine. People are working there. We probably do need to get a library up at some point. I'm not sure what we'll do about that one. I'll have a think. At the moment, I'm mainly concentrating on getting this cell block done, just so we're sustainable with money. Because at the moment, we are just relying off the loans. Relying on the loans, rather. Let's just double check our new people. We have someone who's tough and and then no other traits, so that's fine. We don't need to worry about those. I was just checking to see if there's like ex-law enforcement or anything like that, which there isn't, so that's fine. So let's just go around and we'll see if there's anything we can do to alter this. So we've got visitation, we need that. Classroom, we'll keep it the same. Shop, the same. And spirituality, chapel, the same. So this row is all staying the same. Security will stay the same. Kitchen and canteen and the infirmary will be the same. Common room, yep, we can keep that as the same. The laundry will be fine. Cleaning cupboards, no, we might change that. And then parole, which we want to keep as the same. So all that's the same. And then this is the same here as well. So actually, there's going to be very little change here in this one. The only thing I'm contemplating is removing that cleaning cupboard. If we remove the cleaning cupboard, we could get, not necessarily, definitely get, a library in there. And it would mean them needs being fulfilled. It's still a mailroom thing that we don't have though. What we could do, we could easily move storage to the other side. We currently have exports there. We could move storage to the other side. I know people said about the same thing about the morgue, put the morgue over the other side. And having that over here as a storage, which it doesn't matter having storage outside, we can have this as a mailroom, and then we have the mail then being brought in, so it's sort of censored here and then brought in. Would that function? It would function. I think it would work. Let's trial it for now. So what we're going to do, go over to rooms and to storage, and we'll have the removal of storage there, and we'll have the addition of storage in this corner here. We don't actually have an export, but you can see this is going to get shifted over. I might just get rid of exports for now and just have that going down to there, and then just because it's always useful to have some sort of export, we'll just put it at the bottom there because we can. So everything's going to get shifted from storage. Let's go over to here and we'll get the mail room put in. So the mail room will go across like so. It requires sorting desks and tables. So tables will go, doesn't really matter to be quite honest with you, and sorting desks can go in the middle like that. It doesn't really matter. And then I believe, because that is now set as staff only, the workers will work in that one. I'm going to prioritise the building of that. I want to see what happens there, because we are going to get different things brought in. Mail and such will now be brought in. There's a reform session done. Ah, that's prisoners pass the general education course, which has now happened. We need to build 20 school desks in total, which we will build eventually, because we're going to be building the classroom there. But what I'll do is I'll just sort of zoom into here, get a school desk, and I'm just going to place 1 and 2, and it does say build, not order. So I'll just prioritize that, and then actually no, we could probably, no, it is just order. There, yeah, it is just order. Okay, so we'll cancel that building, and then we'll dismantle that, and it means that we now have a nice bit of money. So we've got 68 grand, which I will keep hold of. I'm not going to pay back the loan, I don't think. Let's have a look. Grants decrease, it would be... yeah, okay. So I'd be paying back 25,000, which I'm not too fussed on. So the mailroom has now been cleared. That's weird as well. Hang on. Did I place the wrong tiles there? I did place the wrong tiles there. I was going to say that's a mosaic tile. I've placed mosaic tiles rather than the other one. So we should have people coming in here and working the mailroom. Unless it's something that only prisoners can work in. And it does say max jobs 3. But we'll see what happens there. We are getting some early releases, which is good. That's fine. I'm not seeing anybody in there. It might just be a prisoner only thing. But it doesn't make much sense because other things like the laundry can be worked on by the janitors. But I don't think they'd be using that. I don't think so. I'll keep an eye on the mail stuff and see if anything gets delivered. Right, so what we want to do is want to start cloning this in its entirety. So I will have to be very careful of how we connect things up. You can see there immediately is a problem because that will connect to this grid, and this one has to be on a separate power station. So I'm going to place said station and then get the capacitors around that. And then what I'll do is I'll run the electrical cable across like so, and we'll run it in here. Now, I will take this opportunity to shift this, so we'll do that. We'll get rid of this cable, and we're going to reroute it round like so. Just so it doesn't go anywhere near this entrance, so it doesn't go all kinds of weird. Let's just prioritize all of that. There we are. You can see we've got no access, no line of sight into that mailroom, which is interesting. I wonder if anyone is actually working in there. No, I think it might just be a prisoner-only thing. I'll have to check that out later. There's no reason why we couldn't move the storage over there anyway, but we'll have to see if that functions. And there might be a certain time of day when things happen. So that should now be powered up, which it is. That's fine. This has now got power, and once this is connected, we will be able to start building here. Okay. So, quick build and clone. This is going to be a bit of a nightmare, but we'll do our best. So we're going to clone the biggest area we can, and I'm going to do that because then it follows this wall, okay? So we'll start cloning, and we'll clone from there. And then we'll clone from here. And we have to be careful that it doesn't shift, but that should do us for now. And then there. That seems to have cloned okay. And I'm going to do it in batches. I'll probably go up to there. Now, there's another fight. I'll just pause a second while I finish this clone off. The game is smart, and it won't place things like walls twice. It won't double place walls, which is good. So we've got a bit of a fight here. We've got gang member, and gang members. Looks like they're all kicking off, and I don't know why. Not that they need much of an excuse to do that, but there you go. Let's just go over to gangs, and you can see it is, yes, 2 red gang members and a green one, once again. Seems to be the nature of the beast. Don't know why. Extremely tough. Gang member and gang member. Just gang members fighting, I guess. So there we are. So we can see we now have stacks of mail. See that there? That says box contents. No, it's going to the table. We now have a mail satchel there as well, and that is now getting delivered. And the guard is working there. Yes, it is functioning. Right, okay. I was going to say it wouldn't make much sense that wouldn't be working. Anyway, what I'm going to do is go over to staff and to guards. I'm going to get 2 more guards. Actually, we might as well get some more in preparation for more people turning up. We're going to get 2 dog handlers as well. Because obviously we're going to have to really increase our capacity for this thing. This thing will just be a case of wait and see how long it see how long it takes. I'm going to buy 4 more workers just to get that one done. Because we've got that grant done now, we may be able to pick another one up. No, we can't. We can't pick another grant up. We've got prison manufacturing facility, which we don't have, and cell block C, which we also don't have. Now, there is something that we could do that means a change from the original plan, and I'm not entirely opposed to it. But this thing here was originally going to be our high risk area. The problem with that is we don't really have much room. We're losing about 1/3 off the building on the right hand side because of this block here. That's a problem straight away. The second issue is that we've already decided, or we've already determined rather, that this needs to be expanded. It does need to be expanded, I believe. So if we expanded this, where would it go? Well, it can only really go here, which is cutting more of this building. I'm thinking about and propose that we don't have this as high risk. We're still going to have high risk, but not here. What we'll do is we'll extend this building to the left, which means increasing the amount of protective custody cells like so. What I'd probably do is make this a bigger canteen, one big canteen, you see, and then at the end here have like a big common room like so. That would also mean increasing this, because we're going to have another power generator, and then we've got all of this extra stuff here for whatever we need. The problem obviously is access. We'd have to probably redo the common room. So the common room is around here, so we'd have the common room like so. This is just a rough plan, you understand. So this is the common room, or maybe this one is, and yeah, we've got bits down here that we don't really have much use for, but we could do it something like that. The other option is to have this coming along like this and down, which means this would still extend for reasons that I'll get to in a moment. It's because we're going to have another generator there. And then this would come along, and we'd have these cells and whatnot. And I really would like the idea of having graded cells for protective custody and parole as well. I would really like parole for these. So we'll really increase this one. And doing that would allow us to future-proof this a little bit further. I think I've underestimated the size that this needs to be, especially when you consider that we're going to expand up north. So we'll go up north, and we will place the high risk here, and it'll be a direct clone of this, which means you've got 3 of the same. So low, medium, high. We'll probably change that one though slightly again. We'll probably alter the center, but yeah, it's clones up. This area will become free for forestry and workshops. And the question then becomes, well, who are you going to have in the forestry and workshop? And my answer to that is I don't know. I don't know who would work in there, because these are supposed to be locked in here. The other option is that this building comes along like that. Yep. Extends that, and then we've got this section here. That is just about the right size for death row, because we still need all of the extra things like kitchen and canteen and security and blah 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 blah. The difference is they definitely don't leave it. Definitely. These guys in here, right? These ones, these are locked in here because of our orders, what we've set. Anywhere else, not the case. In here, rather, not the case. This is death row, or could be death row, and you don't leave death row. That's how it works. Oh, you can leave, but leave the prison. Your sentence gets reduced. But, yeah, you don't leave that one. I'm leaning towards that because it means that we've got 3 identical prisons, whatever you want to call it, going up. And easy to build, quite fast. And we get 3 slightly different variations. Why is it always booting off? Oh. More fighting again. Yep, it's always them gangs, isn't it? Yep. And that's because the red gang members outnumber and they're trying to probably increase their majority by reducing the opponents. You remove the man, you remove the problem is the adage I think they're using there. But either way, that is a rough plan. I think we'll leave it there. We've got a huge slab of concrete placed. We've got this cloned, so it's quite decent. And we now have the mailroom working. Next episode, we will continue building this low-risk prison. And we need to still think about this cleaning cupboard, maybe getting rid of it and putting a library in there. I'm tempted, mainly because we don't really need a cleaning cupboard, although removing that cleaning cupboard means a lot of cleaning now for our janitors. We're just going to have to get some janitors. Literature need is going up, and it is on high, and that's not a big problem. But there's 25 plus prisoners that are really in dire need of a good book. And if they don't get that, then it just reduces the reform and stuff like that. Speaking of that, what's our grading? 9% reoffending rate. Grading's all good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Excellent. Right, so we are going to leave it there. Next episode, we'll continue on with this building here. And we will maybe see about changing that. But that's a futurist problem. I think the main focus is this here, isn't it? And then maybe think about expanding this. But let me know what you think about the proposed changes. So this is going to be an extension from this building here. We'll probably cut it all the way down. And then this building will be for Death Row. Let me know what you think, and then we'll go from there. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.